Right. All set. Kidok. Let's see. Now we are getting into the in-text colon, and all in text colon. You know that the word all is going to work the same wherever you apply it with these operators. So we'll just do a lot more examples using in-text colon rather, you know. So what happens with in-text, eh? In-text is the deeper search that we do in the content pages. So what happens is that whenever we are using in-text, we are gathering or rather matching your search terms with whatever content or the body of text has in it, including the headers are, say, Kristen, did you do a bit of HTML programming at some point, or was somebody else? You did do HTML coding, eh? If I remember.
I didn't do I didn't do programming itself, but I had a really brief introduction to how it works, and I got super lost, and it's been so many years ago that I don't really remember much of it because it's been at least 12 years. So I think it's like, okay, I need to brush up on what it's supposed to be and not the little pieces that I remember.
Right. Got it. So I guess, but it's not too hard, really. I mean, it's just in my vocabulary, HTML means basic programming language. Really, it's too basic. Eh? It's just how you design a web page. It's not dynamically inclined, so you don't actually do any mathematical computation. You don't give it logic or reasoning. It's just for you to construct the outline of the pages, give it colors, make it appear nice, and so on. And of course, to organize the content, which is textual content. That's where HTML is most useful. And whatever is the whenever there is a portion that requires computation or pulling the data from the data tables or somewhere where you do your inputs and it gets pushed into the database, that is a dynamic program. Same way, the dynamic program is supposed to call the data sets, okay, from the database. So that is and it's all embedded inside of the HTML. So luckily, we don't really worry much about the dynamic code part. The search engine won't even worry about or to entertain it at all. It's just going to look at the textual structure of whatever is available to it. And because it is more connected to the pages, and the pages is a combination of different technologies embedded inside of HTML, it is only going to catch, or there is a technology called caching. Caching is just temporary images of the page as it stands with the content that is only textual. That's what it's going to copy and then put it on the indexing system. So basically, the HTML code is what it's going to read. And anything that is dynamically programmed will be read briefly as something whose image it's going to copy and then put it in its index. But there is a little bit of a situation with the timing between how that content is captured versus when on the other side where the pages are moving or adding more content or changing the content in its body of text, that part will keep happening. So there is a time difference between what gets changed and when you click on the page itself, or the link that takes you to that page, you might find things are slightly different because a portion of what is dynamically playing its part on the uh, on the website, that would appear to have different content by the time you get to that through that link. So there is a little bit of a discrepancy in that sense. So don't be surprised if this thing happens. But that's the nature of the beast. What can you do? So whatever is the freshest, the search engine is going to collect it and then superimpose it, or basically replace that page with the latest content. If it went there and took its time to get it back, it'll appear to have a different sort of content. So that part keeps changing. And you will come across that situation, but not as often. It happens, but people don't change with the frequency that might impact majority of those pages. So that's a little bit of a background on how the mechanism of matching the content, might surprise you. Here we are talking about in text. We've done in title, and we know in title is querying that special tag we call, one of the tags is meta tag. Meta that actually resides behind or plays its part behind the header portion of a page. So meta information from there, which is embedded in the tag called title, or the meta title, is collected as a primary information. Then there is another non-meta tag, which is also part of the HTML coding. It is also giving same information or similar or something that is more on the side of identifying the page you have navigated to, because while the header title or the meta title is talking about the website itself, or something that is only specific to identifying what that website is about, the non-title on us, the non-meta title portion will identify with what has changed on the page or what the page represents as you keep navigating. Both of these tags are actually queried when you're using in title. But when we are looking at non-meta, anything that is not specifically uh, within the or running at the back of the header as a meta tags, that will be excluded. That won't be matched when you're using in text. It's just going to drop down a little to get into the body of text and look for non-meta text, which I have explained before. But just to give you a revision, there are these tags like description tag, for instance. Well, by the way, description tag is also a meta tag. So that's the only exception. I mean, it's not really the description part alone, which is actually queried. Description is more lengthier version of explaining what the site is about. So the description also keeps changing as you move from one page to another, like going into the deeper navigational pages. But this is what in-text is going to read, only the description part, even though it is got a meta name to it, or it's a meta tag, but it's still queried only specific to in-text. It won't be queried by in title. So with the exception of meta tag description, everything else is ignored at the top portion. When it comes down, it's going to look at the non-meta tags like H1, H2, H3. These are representing the hierarchy of embedded captions or main headings that are more prominent. And these are generally followed by another tag called P tag, which is for paras, and it has got lengthier lines and more explanatory, more detailed explanation in textual format of what the height, what the H1, H2, and all those tags represent. So as we go down, we would find there are other tags which generally, or at times, not always, but they are not presented or exhibited in on the user interface side, but they are always embedded in the code, like time, for instance, time and date stamp, like when it was uploaded, especially in the news agencies, or where the site is run by large size news sources like CNN, Washington Post, and so on, you would find that it matters a lot to read through the date and time stamp because it has kind of a flavors to it, like when the story was uploaded, or the author, or who actually information about the author who wrote the story, the time at which it was uploaded, and if it is an event that is evolving or it is changing with time, it is going to also have another date and timestamp that says when it was uploaded, sorry, when the story was updated, then when if the story is somewhat handed over to another author that takes over from say one point to another, one time to another, that name is also going to be there along with when that author uploaded, because these are more like blueprints of understanding how the story is actually owned, changed, and basically ownership of that is represented by it. And if it is time and date sensitive, then obviously people like to go behind inside of the code and look up that date and timestamp. Then there are recycling situations where they need to fill in their magazines, or add to or reuse certain type of articles or stories. They might be able to do that by recycling the same story, changing the heading, maybe changing the format a little bit, and then placing it back again after some time, so that they have these fillers to occupy their their content pages. So that's when time and date stamp can be useful. Strong is another HTML tag that says that certain fonts are emphasized, or they are in cap, they are they've got they're emphasized in the sense, I don't know, they're more like bolded. Okay, so they've got like bold formats. So strong means that you are giving a command that whatever is embedded within this tag of strong tag, it has a meaning, or it has more value, or maybe it is emphasized because of a reason that might include text that is important, or and then you've got fonts. If the fonts are bold, or they're not really bold, but they're capital or small letter, colors. So it's all talking about emphasis on certain type of information embedded in these tags. And HTML5 is a upgraded version. It has more tags to it, or it has more kind of it has more information that is embedded in the tags that could be new tags. So they keep coming and keep evolving, and the search engine would pay attention to it and look at whatever is embedded inside of it. But the deeper text is mostly in the paras, these paragraphs. So it is important that we use in text for any kind of matching of statements or longer search phrases, or anything that may not be totally complete but in small chunks, like one form of a search phrase, or one statement could be in paragraph one, or there could be the next part in the third para, and there could be fourth and fifth paras. So all those can be put together, or can be placed inside of the query, so that you are filtering it into, or zoning it into a page that would contain all these information sets in one single page. So it's going to match all of them if you've used in-text as your choice of advanced search query. So that's just, explaining without looking at the slides. Now let's see if I can support what I said with the information I have running in the slides. By definition, what is highlighted here is telling you what this in-text operator will do. Is given a task to read through the deeper textual content of web pages and find match for specific words in the body of text. Body of text is what we'll be using more often. It actually encompasses all of this information inside of non-meta text, as well as covers a large portion of the page content, which is textual mainly, and includes the footer part, where you have other bit of information as well. So body of text basically includes the description tag at the meta layer, and everything else that is going to be under the header up to where the footer ends, that page. So that's all going to be body of text. So in this one, what is pulled here or whatever is queried using in text colon will appear in this portion that you're looking at right now. This is the what we call the description area, and it has more information, more lines of text. Anything that is just below the title portion at the top, um, all this in gray color, as well as these are, the ones that are navigational links that are, they've got wordings like article, for instance, certified membership. All of these are navigational links. And somehow the description portion, anything that is, as I said, below the title is the description area. And it includes and it has a different ways of presenting this area as having as appearing in different shapes and formats. Google keeps changing it. They have different types of descriptions that they experiment with, and basically they can be seen as formats for which I'm going to take you to another slide right now and show you what are the different ways in which they describe or they run the description area. This is the example I'm going to put forth. These are different types of descriptions that the search engine keeps bringing, and they keep changing also. So I want you to know that whenever you do in-text query, anything below the title, that may be different ways of how they have described or placed or organized the information is all going to be called the description information, and that's where the text in text is going to present its returned results, or whatever it fetches from the content of the page is going to be placed in the area below the title, nowhere else. It won't be specifically in the top portion, which is the very top portion. As you can see, there is a URL here, or the title portion. None of these two portion uh, would be bringing or necessarily presenting the returned results to have those wordings in any of these, either the URL or the in title. Everything will have to be in the description. Now, description can be named different. We don't have a naming that is given to us by Google, but there is a logic and there is a way in which we would like to describe the organization of those returned um, results with the in text. This area we would name it different, like I said. So some of these are called what we picked up from how it is presented or written in the Google forum. There is something called feature rich snippet, which means it has added information or it has links or it has something which is bringing a lot more out of that page besides just the textual part, meaning that there could be more highlighted information like voice, like this one is first appearance, characters, personality. It's searching Bart Simpson, so it is bringing all kinds of info. But the fact remains that any of those wordings that show up in addition to any kind of navigations or more prominent information that Google thinks could be useful, it is going to start to use a feature called rich snippet. Then there is a box that you get to see, this box about the questions which appear like people also ask. This is more on the predictive side, but even this box comes under the definition of description area, or how the description might also include additional features or additional utility, which in this case could be people also ask. So this is another format. Then you've got the rating format. Again, we just call it rich text snippet. And so if you keep looking, and I'm not sure if it is, it's got a very small font, but the idea is to lay it all on one slide. So, it is congested a little bit, but you could see that there is, all different ones. This one, for example, brought the images along with the story about what Simpson is. Um, Basically, this was one example we thought could be also exciting. And if you like to Google it on your own, you'd pretty much find a la carte, all sorts of information sets. And it has got it, it covers a lot of description areas, which are staged or placed in all sorts of formats. When you do image for in text with Simpson, for instance, this part that you're getting, which is all basically pictures or images, this is also part of the in-text query. So with the in-text, you scoop out or you scrape a lot more information, and all of it may be arranged in different ways, or they can be named differently. Even definition snippets. So there could be a snippet which is more focused on definition. It is all going to be triggered by the nature of the search term that you're using, and the in combination with the in-text colon. So you could see that even book snippets are showing up. So I guess now you get the idea that whenever we are doing in-text colon, it is bringing a lot more info, an in-depth collection of how the mm, snippets are collected, or different types of snippets are collected, so they'll all start to show up. So this is the magic of using in-text with the colon. Taking you back to the query itself. Now, in this slide, I guess I'm opening up or going under the hood, opened up the source code to show you what is going to be the area covered under the body of text. And when you run in-text colon, what part of embedded information in these tags will be covered or would be matched. So the top portion, this one is running the meta tags, or this could be the header area. Assume that whatever is up till, let's say, where I'm pointing. Let me see if I can change um, mm, the cursors, so that it's going to pointer options, laser point. Now it is more easy. See, up till this point, or where, I'm pointing to this blue line, all this is the header portion, and the tags that are running behind the header are shown in this area. When we are running in-text query, the only place the index is going to match the words is going to be the meta name called description. And then it is going to default down and go onto the area under this blue line, which is covering tags like H2, for instance. So where H1 is the main caption or the main query, H2 could be the subset of that, or could be the second layer, or could be the next heading after H1, or it could be the smaller heading. So H2 heading is what it's pointing to. And when you look at what is embedded in H2, you could see that there are these wordings, web search certification. So this could be the heading, uh, web search certification, training and education. And then there is another non-meta tag, it says P, which means that right underneath or where the heading is saying web search certification, training and education, the paragraph will start and explain more. And this para information is embedded in P code, which starts from P here and is closed with P after the backslash with the character P here. So whatever is embedded in it, which starts from professional touch with new materials and tools, all this text, which is ending with information research work, is going to be queried by in text. So, and so it continues. Then we've got H3 headings, which could be a subheading to H2 heading at the top. Anything that is embedded in these tags up till the footer part of the page, all of these tags will be considered as body of text. Um, and again, the exception, like I said, body of text is inclusive of all this information plus the description or the meta description. So that's the only area where it's going to go and look for those matching words. In this example, where we have, let's say, the H2 tag, web search certification, for instance, this is pulling this header information and bringing it or making it appear uh, on the user side to look somewhat like this: web search certification, training and education. That's where it's being pulled from. Okay. And when we are using in-text web search certifications, how it is bringing the information and making the user to see if it is bringing correct results will be described or will be placed in the description part. Like web search certification would show as more highlighted in darker fonts, where you have the description portion, not necessarily in the title or in the URL part. So where it's getting pulled, that it is coming from a page or from the body of text, literally, and a portion of it which is matching the words web search certification, that is actually coming from the H2 tag inside of the HTML. So you could see the process of how the information is moving from the coding side onto the user and into the description area. And this is coming up only because you did in-text colon. However, if the same wording was somehow available in the title tags of the pages we have, let's say if we're being specific to AOFIRS domain, then those pages would, if those pages has these wordings in the in title or in the title tags, only then you would be able to find it. If you had used in text, then you are not looking at in title, or the in title colon will not find web search certification if it is, these wordings are not settling or not presented inside of the title tag. Here, you have to follow this example carefully to get a better sense of what in-text does. Has any one of you looked at the video that we made on in-text with the collection of links, or I guess the ones that I sent you in the chat box? If you recall, perhaps you would have seen the you would have seen that we have a video on in-text, or how the in-text works. Has any one of you had the opportunity so far to look it up. Hey, Randy, you're here. Good to see you. All right. Nobody has seen the video. That video would have helped you a lot today if we are to do this example. But I'll show you what it's doing here with the query that starts with in text. You could see that we have it right here. Again, I have to change this one. This is the query. We've got three search terms. We've got internet research specialist, we've got online research and business intelligence. Then we've got words like CIRS certification. So we literally have like three sets of search terms. And so what is very peculiar about this search, besides the index that we are putting as an operator, there is these terms that we are asking for the search to find. With the word internet research specialist, I could have used in title because I know that it could be part of the title, and quite frequently we've used three terms in the title portion. Anyway, the idea of using multiple instances of in-text was really to create a reference or create a correlationship for anything that would have all three terms found on that or be available on that content page. So we added another term, online research and business intelligence. So this could have been the title or could not have been the title. I mean, it just depends on whether this could be part of the title ideally. Anyway, this part or this portion of the information is not a complete sentence, but a partial one. And it has a beginning to it, and it has something that is a continuation after the word intelligence. But if I only remembered these few words, online research and business intelligence, for example, and I know it exists with a longer text that makes it into para region of the page, I just picked this up. And then in the third instance, I wrote CRS certification. So basically all three terms. CRS certification could have been in quotations also. So don't ask me why. Even if I did that, it would still be okay. So all three are working together. Now I want to see if I used in text as an operator, where would it have inquired and matched these terms? Um, let's see what came as a search result or what we got returned with the same query right here that we inserted. We got this snippet, this one right here. And you could see in this snippet, we got all this information presented in the description part. And because the information or three different words like internet research specialist may be in one para of that specific textual statement that we have returned back to, if we click on this, for instance, we would go to a page that is shown right here. So this is the page where we landed. And now we wanted to see where this word is extracted or brought for us. So if internet research specialist was somewhere in the first para, which is right here, internet research specialist, and we know that rest of these different terms might be embedded deeper into the layers that could be way down on the page, or if it is a very large, long text page, how would it be able to bring all those back and present it in the description? Because after all, it's very long text, and it's kind of scattered and separated into paras and headers and so on. So for it to be presented over here, it has to show something that says that certain terms are brought from one para versus another versus the third para. So for it to do that, it is going to show you three dots. That means that this is a para which is separate from the next three dots, which are shown against the CIRS certification, because they are at different um, portions, and all that is in between as text cannot be presented. It is going to be identifying, or these three dots will be identifying another para or a separate para that would contain the word CRS certification and a little bit of its continuation before again it is going to show you another set of dots or three dots that says that the third, or the online research and business intelligence as a search term, is actually in the fourth para, or in the para 4, that is only bringing it, or bringing to your attention the fact that this is a separate para that contains this set of search terms. So this is quite common in your search results. That's how the information comes. At times you would find that some of the uh, if let's suppose you had a lot more wordings and there is this real estate or the area which might have a demarcation or have some sort of an embargo on how much of the content it is going to be able to accommodate. So when that starts to happen, you might not be able to find those terms highlighted or presented in the description area because it's not fitting in. It doesn't mean that if you click on the link that you wouldn't find it on the actual page. It's just that Google didn't think at the time that it had enough space to add any additional length or additional in text in that limited space. So that's when you're looking at the SERPs and you feel that certain words are not highlighted or certain terms are missing. It doesn't mean it don't exist. It's just that the area of the snippet cannot accommodate it. So when we got the search results returned over here, you could see that the first para contained this information, then second para contained CRS certification, the fourth para contained online research and business intelligence. So that's where the index is going to bring or pull that um, information set to compare with your search terms. These are the queries we could do, but I'm going to show you something. Let's do a practical example. Let's take a short break and then I will do some practical examples using in-text, and then we will do a comparison with using in-title versus in-text to see if in-text did a better job based on the how we have designed the or phrased the search terms. When certain search terms would not ideally show up in the in-title, you would know that in-text is the best option. So what could that be, or where would you have to make that decision to run something using in-title versus in-text? I'm going to try to do that after the break. So let's take 10-15 minutes right now, and I'll return and explain that. And right after we get done with in-text, we'll start with in URL. In URL is also very interesting, and a lot of times people as to the utility of using in URL. because they do not understand the structure of the URL and the extent of info or the type of information that is embedded in the stem of URL. That could be extremely useful when certain things you're not able to find using normal search terms with other operators. So what is that differentiator where we find the importance of using in URL? That's going to be the two things that we'll try to finish if we can. But in URL is quite. Yeah, I'm back and I'd like to continue, please. You can hear me and you can see the screen as well. Assuming all is good on your side, I want to show you some examples of running a few queries using in-text here. So these are the two queries. There is a replacement I'm going to do to give you a comparison for using in title versus in text. So let's say I want to look for a page which I randomly picked and I navigated to AOFIRS domain and clicked on the certification. Just the page itself that has, you can see that it has captions, it has, let's just, for, for practical reasons, I'm going to show you what is embedded or what is considered as part of the tags. One tag, which is H1, you can assume that this could be the H1 tag, and a sub navigation to this main caption or the main statement is a sub statement. This could be H2, and these would be paras. Okay. And this could be another H2, H3, and so on and so forth. And below this is the para. So it's going to read all these pages. The most important thing is that you have to assume that the search engine has actually captured these pages and indexed them in the first place. So as long as they are indexed somewhere in the system, it can be called and it can be searched. Okay, so this is what I took. Now, if I have to find something that is part of these sentences or different structures of search phrases like this one, for instance, if I pick this one, I can do a query using in-text. If I had done professional research certification, and if it's a very common term that can also appear in the title tag, it may not be as appropriate to use in text. I could even do in title. All right. But mostly where the in text is used is for, picking up longer sentences or incomplete sentences, provided that they are not duplicated or they are not the ones that are also used the same way somewhere else in the content pages, then this would make it very specific to the page. If it is a common thing or common sentence you picked up, then you would keep getting a lot more results and not exactly where you want to get to. So it's always a good idea to have a good memory to recall, uh, you know, part of the lines or part of the sentences that could be very specific and very much related to that content pages. If I say took a portion of it, or I just took half of the sentence, which is not even complete, but it's very specific to this page, the likelihood is that I'd be able to find it using in-text. Okay. And I can pick up smaller pieces or segments of it. Like this could be one segment I can pick up, and I can use it with one instance of in-text as a reference, and then add to it another instance as a second occurrence of in-text, and pick up another sentence like this one. Okay. So it just depends on the memory or how much of it you recall and remember. And you would be able to embed that and put it in the in-text query. So I just randomly picked up a portion uh, which I'm running with in-text, how to build complex search queries and search tools in a practical way. So this is one sort of sentence, a long one though, but I thought it could be very specific to this page, so I extracted it. If I point it out on the page, you could see it is somewhere how to build complex. Okay, Control F, how to build. So this is where I picked it up from. How to build complex search queries in a practical way. Let's suppose I remember only this portion, and then I would also have another part which I can recall, and I thought that this could be another set of info that might just sort of may not be from the same para, but picked it up from another para on the same page. Training programs for knowledge professionals and information users. With the combination or with relationship to each other, it will give it a stronger context, and it would basically nudge the search to get to that specific page. Now I have kind of created a more tight query, and I can even add more instances of in-text to give it an additional context. So let's suppose this is what I have to run in the search. And this is exactly what I did during the break. I took the whole query and I searched. When I clicked on search, I got one result, which is very specific to this link or this page. And if I want to make sure it is the same page, I'll click on the link, and it brought me to exactly the same page, this one. On the other hand, if I used the in title command, these longer sentences or these combinations of two reference search statements would not be typically placed in any of those pages within the title tag. And that's based on my best judgment. So if I instead used in title instead of in text, and I ran this query as I did in this case right here, I got 0 results. Nothing came back just because I used the wrong, um, you know, uh, wrong command. I would have used in text. Okay. So this was incorrect. Now, another thing where I would want to use it in somewhat in combination with in text within title, I would go like this. It's just all about what terms are you are going to use. Terms that would ideally fit into the title part. What could those be? Those wordings be? So at times, I would use both in text and in title. So what fits into the in title? I'll show you typically. just to get to the same page. Mm, make it. That this one fits in better, online certification. So if I use, and assuming that I want to give it a better context, I could even do another thing. But for now, let's see if I use in title with in text, but in title statement or the wordings that I've used would actually bring the same page back. I'm going to run it and bring it. Online research certification. Sorry, I would make another correction here. And this is if you remember the terms. So online research certification. Let me try that. I can get to the page because now it knows that on that specific page that we are running, it has in the title tag words like professional online research certification. So I took a portion of it, online research certification, and I got it. Or professional online research, I'd be able to get to this page exactly directly. And if I want to look at the tag and see where we have in the source code, control F, I want to get to the title. In the title, you could see we have professional online research certification. So if I used online research certification, you could see that it is embedded here as the matching words containing the word online research certification in the title tag. So that's a proof of concept, I guess, for using in text and in title, and also a differentiator between using in title and in text. So I guess no ambiguity here, assuming that you have a better concept of when to use in text versus in title. And there would be times when you want to use in title rather than in text, when it is just a specific thing that you want to get to. If I have to use in title, I would rather be using uh, typical terms for the title statements. For example, if I want to find something using in title, I'd use the wordings. Mm, because these are more common and could be part of how we have set them as having kind of an ownership with the wording CIRS. So I know that I would be able to get to the exact site. Now, if I want to make query 3 even better, I could also write the same query by writing site AOFIRS.org, and this will be even more specific. Now that I've restricted my search to this domain, going to be even more easier. Okay. So anyway, you're going to use terms like this, terms like FAQ, mm, so if you keep using more of in title or in text as you know as if you are separating or comparing or getting to a relationship concept of finding all of those wordings or all of those statements inside of one page, then you have to be sure that logically or to the best of your knowledge they would exist or coexist together. Sometimes you use in text or in your or in title many times, but at one of those instances where you have placed a wording that may not be there or may not coexist, then it will not bring the pages back to you, even though the other sort of wordings may be there, but some of them cannot be or may not be. So FAQ, or then let's suppose something that I write benefits of CIRS. If it does not, all three of them don't exist together, then you will get null results. I'm just creating out of my memory. I don't know, but assuming if let's suppose this does not coexist with FAQ or CRS certification, then you'll never get to the page. Or where, you have used something, we'll run it afterwards, but just creating something which might, uh, make you more cautious when you're applying it. So in title, to have benefits, or let's say in text. And if they don't exist with the title statement that contains these words together, then there would be a null result. So whenever you have multiple instances of the same or interoperable uh, query operators that are using words that don't get along with each other for the same page you're querying, again, you will get into that conflict and the results won't be accurate. So, you have to be careful about knowing that they exist. Okay. So I'm going to try this first to see if it exists or not. If the three of them don't exist together, you won't get to the page. Let's try to run it. See, so they all have to have something to do with whatever else that is around it, before it or after, as a reference or a correlational um, sentences or search phrases. I'm going to cut this and see if this one is going to work. Yeah, so we it's not as popular of a term. So that's why it is not working all that well. Now, what if you want to search within title a document which is a PDF or anything that is, can be any other document or any other format for which you're going to use a file type. Would this words or these search terms be matched for the PDF or not? Let's see if I have CIRS certification somewhere on the PDFs that can be searched. Because what happens is that at the time of indexing, the PDF document is analyzed for the textual content it has. And the way they do it is that they extract everything or transfer or turn the PDF version into a textual format. And that's the way that they're going to interpret or match the keywords. Uh, else, just having a PDF title may not be sufficient for matching with the PDF document. And once the textual content is extracted and the document is matched, it is turned back into PDF, or the PDF is kept already, which can be accessed directly and appears to you as a PDF and you click on the navigation. So let me try to see if I can find CRS certification. By the way, the singular or plural might matter here, because if it has got only the word certification instead of certifications, and because you've placed it within the quotes, it might be a difficult fit. So let me try it. So we got zero results. Maybe I have CRS syllabus. So I have the PDF that has the title statement, CRS certification, online training program. So this is a PDF document and it is able to read the PDF version. I only got the PDFs that has the wording certified internet research specialist in it. So that is also another thing that you might be able to do with using in text, in title, or even in URLs. That's going to come next. I guess that would give you another sort of, and then if you even want it to be more precise, you can even do site aofirs.org. You can do that too. Okay. This is done. So you know that they all have to coexist on the same content pages. Then let's look at there are a lot of examples. You should be able to pick them on your own and try them out. And there is an explanation of you know what gets returned, and it is explained as well. So I would ask you to try these if you can. And the rules are the same. Remember when we did in text with in title, you can always use the OR as two sets of outcomes that can come from querying with in text, like coral bleaching here versus coral discoloration. So if you're not sure if you can get more information on bleaching, and you can do with discoloration as two terms, or the meaning might be somewhat similar, but the two terms can be matched somewhat, and be acceptable. You can always put an OR in between. And here, because geophysics is one sort of a science that explains the coral discoloration or coral bleaching, and there could be an element of chemistry also. So geophysics, or the science of geophysics, can be applied to it, as well as the science of chemistry. So it depends on if you want to be more specific or not. If you just want a general information, you can, or something that you want to get as a preference, you can put geophysics here without placing it in the quotation marks. So not to make it, specific enough, but to give it a kind of a flexibility to even come up with the chemical or the chemistry version of it. That's just giving you ideas in different situations on how you can use in text in different ways. But even if you use coral discoloration in title, you'd still be able to get it, but it'll be only the title part that is explaining that specific situation. But if you write in text, you will get more returned or more elaborate version, or a deeper, I guess, or a detailed textual content that may contain the word coral, that would contain the word coral discoloration in it. So there is more bulk of information you will get without being specific to the title. Title may just contain it or make it even more specific. But if you do in text, you'll have more referential information in the paras, and this could be one of the words used in the in the bulk or the volume of it. So it depends on your approach. Sometimes you have to keep that in mind as well while you're using in title versus in text. Okay. So I think that this should be sufficient to give you about enough examples. And actually, we ran it in the search box. And so we have good idea where we can use in text. Now I'm going to move to in URL as the last of the snippet related advanced operators. Like I said, there are three of them: in title, in text, and now we're getting to in URL. This is a better example, so I'm going to use the book. So let's get familiar with the URL or what it represents. Sometimes we call it a link. Uh, I mean, these are two technical terms which are used together, or are substituted quite often. But there is a slight difference in calling it a link versus URLs. Only if you're a programmer, or if you're doing something with uh, putting the links together. Links versus URL. URL is what we are going to refer to mostly. Sometimes I might just say links, but about they're about the same thing. So let's not do the distinction. Let's assume that link or URL are the same for now. What needs to be understood primarily, we're going to look at how the links are structured so that we understand the importance of querying using an operator called in URL with the colon sign. Okay. This is a domain, abccompany.com, and this is, a link or an example of a simple link. It's called, this one is more like a static link. Static link means that it's purely going to bring you a page which is not really hidden, or it is not as complex, because whenever there is um, a link which has all different kinds of notations, or it's a very long link, and it has notations like question marks is equal to sign, and bunch of kind of ways in which they are written. We are then moving into a different area, which means now we are dealing with dynamic links. But because the search engine is usually um, uh, pulling the information from the static links or the HTML links, we call it. So we will first try to understand the regular or the typical link, and then I'll explain more about the structure of the links. Unless we understand the different types of links, the structure of it, and whatever is embedded based on it being dynamic or non-dynamic or static like this, we won't be able to I won't be able to explain to you the utility of in URL. So let's start with the typical link right here, which is what we use only for explanation. And once you understand that it's easier for you to look up the dynamic link. So what it starts with is the HTTPS and a colon sign and two backslashes. HTTPS is a protocol. Protocol is rules or something which allows a handshake bit for the communication or for anything to be considered as having a standard to be recognized on either side, whether it is a communication link or it is a link that is taking you to a specific page or a domain. HTTPS is what is considered standard for it to be recognized as something which is telling the search that this protocol is supposed to do a certain action. So the function or the action of HTTPS in the case of URLs is giving indication that you are using internet as a means of communication. We don't have to worry too much about it, except to know that there is a difference between HTTPS and HTTP now. Just because there is a security element or inherently secure protocol that is represented by HTTP and HTTPS, the level of security increases if the protocol says HTTPS versus HTTP. It's hypertext protocol. So hypertext, never mind. So we'll just keep getting deeper into not required. What is important is what comes after the two backslashes. There is this www. These days, you don't need this. It is understood, or by default, www is not used as much. So the domain name that starts after the two backslashes means that it is defaulting, or anything that's connected to this domain will be accommodated or will be attached to the URL, so that it would lead you to a destination page or what we call the landing page. So ABC company is .com or .edu or .net, whatever the domain may be. It's important to have an extension that gives the level of domain. So right now it is saying .com, and this is just an assumed domain. So abccompany.com followed by one backslash, it means that whatever comes after is connected to ABC company or has a page which is now connected to ABC company domain. But what is written after the first backslash is telling you that now it is taking you to a folder, just like you have a folder on your desktops where you have the main folder where you can create subfolders, and within those folders you may have documents that are named documents with the title and everything. So that's the structure of it, exactly how the websites are arranged. So if the web page is going to take you to a page called Internet Research Techniques Executive Recruiters, assuming if this is the title of the page in green fonts, it would actually also tell you in what container or in what folder this page is, as if it is a page which is actually placed inside of a folder called, in this case, for instance, is products. So if the word products is coming right after the first backslash after the domain, it means now the link is directing or giving the direction to the link to find the destination page, Internet Research Techniques, in a folder called products. So products is the name of the folder. In the folder, there is the title document, but what the in URL, or when we are searching for something inside of a URL, we are actually asking it to declare the property value, which is a name or a text or anything that is coming after the in URL colon sign has to be matched with any of the words or all of the words or anything inside or of the entire length of this stem, which is textual and notations all together. So if in URL is what you're going to use, and you're going to put the word in URL products, and then you're going to also use another instance to write in URL Internet Research Techniques Executive Recruiters, it is going to read any of these words, all of these words, or whatever is in the entire length of this URL. If I have to explain it even better, I'm going to have to create an example to show you what I'm talking about. So in URL and say a now supposing if I show you this link, let me expand it a little. I'm going to zoom in. Typically, the link would be like this. So if it is abccompany.com, there is a folder called products. Within the products folder, there could be a subfolder called laptops. Within the laptops, there could be another folder which has a list of Toshiba models of laptops. So this would be kind of hierarchically placed as you proceed further from left to right, based on what, if you are reading it as the first set of folders, uh, and then the second, or I guess, yeah, the second backslash means that now it is defaulting and taking you to a subfolder called laptops, which resides in the products folder and in the product laptop. And so it keeps going until the page that contains information about the model T400. At the end of the link or the URL, a lot of times you will find something that comes after the dot, and there is no more backslashes, that has extensions like HTML or could be PDF. What this is indicating is that this page or Toshiba model T400 is made or it is built using HTML. Okay, so that's how you can just read the link. One of the things student asked me is that what is the importance of these dashes over here? These dashes are only considered as if there is a gap or there is a pause or there is a period or there is a a space between the two keywords. Okay, so basically they are assumed plus sign in the language of Google, but the way the search is going to read it is without the dashes. It is not going to think of dash as connected to either of the words on both sides of it or in between. None of it is considered as if it is part of each other or connected to each other. Okay. So you would just read it Toshiba Model T400s. So whenever we are running any query in URL and we say ABC company, and then we say in URL Toshiba in URL say model T400, we are looking to get to this link. Getting to the link is important, is only because it is one of the reasons it's a shortcut. And then there is another reason where the embedded information would take you directly to the URL, because it has very specifics or very peculiar set of information that would make it more precise for you to get to it. Instead of getting, using entitle in text to read through the text, you are now asking it to read inside of the links, which are also collected and which are also used for you to query using in URL at the time of indexing. So I've shown you that example where all the links are collected and organized. This is one of the reasons that links would be set there for it to be directly inquired through the in URL command. So what the in URL is doing is going to use anything that is declared after the colon sign as if it is textual in nature. And it has the ability to also look for partial words like model 400. So it is going to look for model T400 right here. If you need to look for a subdirectory, it will be there and it will link to or match with the Toshiba word over here. ABC company can be like this. Okay. Same way in URL, we can use in few more ways, which I'm also going to give you an example for. Like I can do .com here. I don't have to write site. I could just call in URL abc.com just because there is no gaps between dot and com and the ABC company and the dot. This is all considered to be one long search term, and you don't have to put it within the quotation marks. Okay. With the in URL, I can use Toshiba and I can even write it like this. Mm, laptops back. And again, no need to put it within quotation marks because there's no gap after the backslash or after laptops. So all of this is going to be matched with what we have over here, right? And the third instance, let's suppose mm, used another word. Let me create another thing over here. Okay. So let this be an additional word I'm adding as, as another subfolder inside of Toshiba sub folder. So let's suppose it says new over here, and I wrote this one. Let's suppose I made this query and I wrote refurbished here instead of putting the word new. So I will get to the refurbished portion only if the word or if there is a folder name refurbished that exists in any of the links. So unless we have the refurbished link or something that talks about refurbished, we won't be able to get to it. So this will become incorrect. Let's suppose there is refurbished, but it is written as this, exactly like this. Now, what will happen is that this query would fail even though everything else is correctly is correct. Everything is correct. This portion is correct. This portion is correct. But this word refurbished in the link is spelled as refurbished without the dash in it. Then what will happen? This will fail. This will fail. This will fail because this in URL command is very specific to how you're going to word something or anything that you're going to place after the colon sign, directly after the colon sign, will have to be exact wordings that are part of the link itself. If it is misspelled or if it is a singular or plural that needs correction or anything that even has a slight notation error, like if over here where I have copied this part and I instead made a mistake where backslash is not used, even then it's going to fail. So what is it that we have to be mindful of? That anything that is declared property name after the colon sign has to be precisely matching or be part of the link that you're querying for. A lot of times, or most of the times, I'd say you don't even know for sure what makes it or what is what or how the links are structured on a specific type of website. And if you don't have an idea, then you may make a mistake because sometimes the pages are named differently. Like the word laptops can just be laptop as singular, or the products might not be the word used when they're structuring it. Maybe they, instead of using the word products, they just, used something else. It could be anything that substitutes products. So unless you know that they have a folder and they have this named folder with that specific name that actually exists in the, and it's connected to their domain name, the query is going to fail. So certain bit of knowledge about how the URLs are structured on on a specific type of sites would give you an insight on how you can manipulate or how you can actually make your way into their products by looking at what typically is embedded in those links or what is the naming convention of folders that they have used. Do they even have the word refurbished in it and how it is spelled? So if it is Amazon, marketplace that we are looking up, then we must, and because it is very lengthy and it has, a lot of complexity as far as navigations, way too many products, you may want to look at how they have structured their URL so you can get to them quickly without having to navigate from one product to another. And you don't want to leave a trail of what gets collected as information, which keeps coming back, as what you've searched from before. So whatever the reason may be, you have to actually be able to look at how they're structured. For example, certain links on certain sites may have an additional piece of information. Take an example of laptops. So if they have Toshiba laptops and they have newer models, refurbished um, laptops. Yeah. So maybe they have something like a date embedded in it, 2022 March. Maybe they have a date like this. So this could be another piece of information that would bring you some newer versions of products, and something that you can actually use or leverage as an additional piece of information to get to the newer products that are available as refurbished. So this additional information can be added. I could also write 2022, okay? And I could even write, and if I wrote 2023, probably the link won't come up. Second thing, another error that I can do is that even if I wrote 2022 and I put the date as 03, okay, because certain URLs would have a date that is a continuation without having to put any backslashes. So the convention could be different. Okay, so it could be March 2020, March 2022, and they can even be more precise if it is news articles, something to do with the content like blogs, etc. They might have a specific date on which that content is uploaded, and therefore it could even have date for, I mean, not in the case of Toshiba laptop, but just giving you an example. So it could even be a day. You never know. So let's suppose you wrote it like this, and it exists in the link, as you can see right here, then this would fail also. So when we are not sure what the convention of the date is like, we would not take a chance and we would just put 2022 here, so that only this portion is compared and matched. You think too much information for you? Is it confusing, or is it something that you want to read and learn better later on? Because I have a video I want to share with you as well that might be helpful when we meet next. That would give you an idea of some of the queries we'll be running. That is not only, I would think of it as very, very important. Um, and it would not only save time, but give you opportunity to ask more questions if you are seriously interested in learning, uh, more on URL. Uh, that would be very, very helpful. So I'm going to give you a link. This video just came up. I just finished it, and it has tons of examples in there, and we'll use those examples as well. Uh, the next thing we'll be dealing with, on the in URL is the opportunities for it to define exact source or take us to the exact source, whether it may be news, whether it is social media, forum, it is, anything that you want to make sure that that portion or that area of information should be the content location, or that's where you want to be very specific about the source. News can be differentiated, blogs can be differentiated, anything that you feel that you want to get to, for which the source don't have that specific type of operator which used to be around, but it's no longer there. Like if we had to query blocks, there used to be in blocks, all in blocks, that is now depreciated. There was something called date range with the colon sign, it's no longer available. So certain operators that were specific to finding the source of info, where it is coming from, it is no longer available. And for that reason, we have to rely on and we have to be able to use in URL to get to those specific sources. And it should be of most use. It should be the best usefulness of applying in URL operator. That's what is going to be explained in the next lecture. So for now, I'm going to wind up our session today. And at the same time, I'm giving you a video which I'm hoping you'll get a chance to look up. It's not too long. These are like 5, 6 minutes video, but they are precise and accurate enough that you would not be wasting a lot of time there on line one. And today is 26th. So 2020. Okay, this will be placed in your folders where you have the classwork and it says classwork underscore 1191. I think that's the name of the folder. I'll just place it over there. And in the meantime, let me pull that link for you, which is actually for the video file. So again, I have to go to YouTube and yeah, तो good. What's the name?
Hello.
It just opens up everything that whoever is sitting here and doing on my laptop just opens up things we don't need. So this is the, am I doing wrong? So what I want you to do when you are looking at this video is look at what links are there when we run these queries. So with query one, this is the link that will be called, and along with other links, of course, but that's just one of the links that we need. So those links that are showing up with these queries will start appearing. So that's what I want you to look up, and you will see all these examples. At least you would be running 5, 6 examples here. That's not going to take too long. You can just pause this and look them up and see what, how they are bringing the information. and the links. Then we have another one, which is up till query 7. I believe there are like 10 queries, 8, 9, and 10. So that's all you have to see, query 1 through 10. Nothing else is as important. And the link that I have here, I'm sharing with you. If you can copy and paste it on your side. That's this. Christian is there, Listy is there, Randy is there. Randy, are you still around?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. So please copy and paste this link, and I am hoping that you will look it up when we meet tomorrow. Okay, please do that if you can. It's not like I'm going to put you on this on a spot, but I think that it'll be helpful. Okay. So it's not like it's a test or is a homework. So I'm putting this one in the Dropbox for you, and which is going to conclude the class for today. Any questions that I can answer for you that you have? Anything? Listy, Christian, and Randy? No questions, eh? Seems like that you have a very good understanding of what we did so far. No questions means that I'm happy that you understood it exactly as I explained. So I'll see you tomorrow and same time. And thanks for making it today in the class. Hope to meet again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Good day to you, Listy. Good evening and afternoons to everybody else. See you. Bye bye. Take care.